Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another ECM repair, testing this time a 2013 Ford F-150. It's a 6.2 liter SBT Raptor. Let me just make sure I'm saying the correct information. Let me just go over here. So it says yes, it's a SBT Raptor 6.2 liters V8. Um, Customer concern is coil number 8 not working properly. As you can see, I have the computer open. One thing that I also want to show is this computer has a flash or a tune into it. Um, the computer is in back order, so he cannot get it back to the car to get it running. This is a customer right here in Virginia. I'm going to keep his information private because it's also a hard name for me to say, but so I was trying to do the same thing that we did on the Kia about providing the RPM signal and let the computer run. I couldn't. I can read the B number as soon as I try to connect with top down. It says that the calibration is wrong or not the correct one. Obviously, it has a tune. So that's why I cannot do any of the current of the normal testing. So I did map out internally on the board informations that I always do. So I have, as you can see, again, this is my picture. I put a wire diagram for the powers and grounds. Ford is very good in this, and now I can have that very handy. I know what to provide. So we have keep alive power and 62 all in connector B, and that's what I put in here at the bottom, BET, because obviously in the car you don't need to do this, but in the bench you need to know which ones are. I also mark it in here, CEB, so I know B is a body, E is an engine, and T is in transmission. So I know where to connect. I have the powers and grounds, and I am providing signals. I have actually four channels connected. So we have the blue channel connected to coil 6, the red channel connected to coil 7, and let me just see, blue 6, red 7, and green is 8. On the yellow channel, I'm providing a signal, a pulse signal with this auto sim. I'm providing 5 pulses of 5 volts, uh, active time 2 milliseconds, passive time 5 milliseconds, and then I can click it and then it will do again 5 pulses. I was able to map out the injector, sorry, the coil drivers. I also found where the injectors are going just to see if it was the injector or the coil to see which one is the one that's problematic, but I can definitely now reproduce that is indeed number 8. So this is coil number 8. Right now I'm connected in coil number 6, as you can see right here. So this is in the computer will be in connector E, pin 69, as I mark it in here. This is a ground, and this is the signal coming from pre-driver, which is right here. So I'm looking first to see if it's the driver or the pre-driver. So what I have again in the scope, we have one of the tests that I did. So we can see that we have 5 pulses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is in coil number 6. If I put the cursors to see the actuation, let me just make sure. So it's exactly 2 milliseconds and it's reaching battery voltage. And I'm going to show you what I have in there so that we can read this voltage. So it's pulling from battery voltage down to 1.37 volts. You can see that there, so that is good. So what I have is, as you saw in the other video, Kia. If you want to see that, please look for PCM or ECM repair class that I did on a Kia. So what I have is 3 test lights connected one side to a constant battery power, simulating the coils, and then the actuation coming from the computer through the test light. Then I'm providing that pulse in the gate of the IGBT. So again, number 6 is doing pretty good, and I can see the pulses on the yellow channel again that I'm providing. If I do a zoom in here, let me move this out of the way. We can zoom again more time, and this will match precisely what we have going on the gate and the response, right? So because this will be the yellow channel connected here, and the blue channel, or sorry, the green, no, let me see, the blue channel, yeah, because it's coil 6, is the reaction. So we can see that is matching perfectly. So with the actuation of 5 times, we get the response of 5 times, and we saw what the values are. So let's move this into coil 8. So if I go over to my picture, coil 8 will be bottom drivers. So these two right here, the inner one, that will be coil 8. So I just need to move this Pomona um, connector over to the gate. I know now which one is the gate. It comes over to this pre-driver and then over to the microprocessor. So let's do the same test. And I forgot to show you the live test on 6, but let's do first the one on the injector, sorry, the coil 8. I keep saying injector all the time. I don't know why, but well. All right, so we have ignition is on. Everything is ready to go. I have to press this in this here. And you'll see the response on the yellow channel. So I did it one time, and that one time will be 5 times. The reason we're seeing it only one in there is because of the time. I'm doing 5 seconds per division. So if I stop I can actually get this down to maybe something closer. Let's do this one once again. So yeah, it's not picking it up. Not picking it up because yeah, I have to go out in order to be able to see it. You see right there and right there. It's just too fast of a signal to stop it like that. I have a 5 million sample, so that should be no problem. But yeah, we see the actuations. If I go over to here, we see that this is not working properly. You see, this is like this is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actuations, but this is not looking any closer to what we had before. You see what I see right there? So if we put cursors, it is pulling down, but it's not enough to fire a coil. So it's, 1.7, so that is not the correct voltage. But if we see the activation, let's say that this will be the activation, because after this start to pull up, this will be off. There's no longer, it's only 16.8 microseconds. That's no good. That is definitely a bad driver. So I'm confirming definitely 100% his problem. All right, so let's do again this now on coil 6. So I'm going to move again this over to coil 6, which is this one right here. And we're going to do the same test, and we're going to try coil 7 too. All right, so let's put this into 5 seconds as I have it before, like that we have a more chance to see that on the screen. So I'm doing the activations. You'll see the responses on the on and blue channel. All right, so that should be enough. We stop the capture, and we are focusing on this. We can see nice and square actuations, so that is a good driver. If I measure, let's measure the second one just for the sake of it looks like a more clean signal. But if I put now the cursors again, battery voltage, and it's pulling it down to, if I need to click in here so we can see the values. So 19.87 milliseconds, and it's pulling from battery voltage to 1.321. Good driver. That's perfectly not a problem on that driver. All right, so let's try number 7. Number 7 is the one next to it. And we're going to do the same thing, gate. All right, so we're going to move that over to Uh, Now that will be the red channel. So let's deselect, or not deselect, let's close all that. Let's run this one more time and let's do the actuation. We can see the immediate response on the red channel. I'm going to do it 3 times, and then we have 3 responses. All right, so let's do the measurement on that one. I did the green a little bigger, so that's why that looks like that, but let's pick up the zoom. I'm going to pick up the middle one. One more time. We can immediately see that this is nice and square. See, all the actuations are nicely defined. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, if we put the cursors, we can pick up either one of this one. Remember, I'm not being a fine tune. If I zoom in a little more, I can put this into perfect and it will match the 2 milliseconds that I'm actually providing as a signal. But we can see right there, 2.034 milliseconds, battery voltage, pulling it down to 1.2. How is that driver? It's 100% good. So we now confirm that we have a problem on the driver number 8. All right, so let me replace that driver and redo the test with the driver fix, and then we will have a happy customer again, which with a good working computer back to his car. All right, so let me replace that and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I finished the repairs. All right, so what I did is I changed all the drivers and the pre-drivers. One of the pre-drivers just came out broken. The driver on that coil 8 was completely shorted. The rest, I didn't care they were good or not. I always replace all. And like that, I know that everything from the out is good as far as coils and pre-drivers. All right, so let's do the test. So same settings. We have this call, the scope running. Let me make sure this is indeed right, running. All right, so let's look at the actuations. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. All right, so this is again, let me stop this. We have everything again, the same thing, green channel is, as you can see there, coil 8, the one we had the problem before, and everything is still connected the same way, nothing changed in here. The only thing that I do always when I'm working on the board is I disconnect this, remove the power, and all the power is just going through the coils. Let's say, this test light, right? But yeah, so let's see how that looks now. All right, so let's take a look at the first one, and we can immediately see the difference. This is 100% repair. Nice and beautiful square waveforms, which is what we're looking for with what we are providing, right? And we can see 2.021 milliseconds. Let's see the battery voltage and how much is being pulled around there. So battery voltage in 1.257, excellent. So this is 100% working. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to pictures. Let's check all the drivers. Oh, I only have connected 3, but well, let's do 6, right? So we move this into 6, which is going to be the first, again, the gate. So we're going to do 6. Let's run the scope again. And we're going to perform the same thing. I'm just pushing the center in here. So we'll see the yellow is the response that I'm sending 1 time. And now we can see the blue channel 2 times, 3 times. Let's do the same thing. Make sure the drivers we install are good. I have a big assortment of parts in here ready to be installed. And I keep it in a nice and moisture-free room because these are very um, you have to keep it away from moisture. Silica pellets are very good for that, and also a dehumidifier in the room. And the temperature obviously is also important. All right, so we can see that we got pretty much the same thing, 1.998, 1.289 volts, and then battery voltage. Again, remember my cursors might be a little off, but that is, I mean, perfection. So let's check 7. Oh, oh, we didn't close it. No. All right, so let's check 7. 7 will be the last one on this side. And we're just going to connect the Pomona there. All right, so we are in 7. 7 will be now the red channel. All right, so let's run the oscilloscope again. Again, 3 times I'm going to click. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And I just want to show that once I got connected on the video for you guys and everything, I will definitely perform the test in all of them. So I know for sure that when I'm giving the computer back to him, everything is 100% repair. I just don't want to hold you guys for too long for the same tests, you know. But yeah, this is what I do. So we are going to, again, this is not a super accurate reading, but we are close to the targets. If I want to be perfect, I can zoom in more, and that will be giving me exactly where I need to be. But yeah, we can see 2 milliseconds, 1.17 volts, and battery voltage. So all is good. So this is 100% repair. Things that I want also to share with you. Remember when I was saying that this scanner, I mean, I connected the top down and I could not communicate with the vehicle. I mean, I was able to establish or read the VIN. Let me just go back to one picture. So this is for my records and his records, just the VIN number of the vehicle right there, 36075, and you can see it's a 2013 F-150 Raptor SVT. But then when I try to establish communication like this, it gives me this. Please ensure that you have the latest version, which I do. Use the manual selection menu to test the vehicle based on vehicle information. If the test fails, please record the following vehicle code and send it to the local distributor, which I did. I sent it to the local distributor. I don't think it's actually a problem with top down, as more the calibration that he has, the tune. I was able to manually select and see the RPMs, and that is not a problem. This is the same picture we had before with the pinouts or powers and grounds. I have all that information saved. You know how I am. I even went and found the torn ring. This is how the torn ring for this vehicle will look. It's a 3060 minus 1, so it's 35 tooth in here. Um, how I find that again in Identifix. Um, oh, 1 second. If you go over to sensor description and operation, you can find the information of all. Like this is nice from Ford. Again, Identifix shares the information they have. I mean, we pay for, right? So if I go over to the CKP, give me just 1 second to find it. I think it's about to show up. So right here. So the CKP sensors are magnetic transducer mounted on the engine block. We can see all that, and it says V6 and V8 engine have a total of 35 teeth, 10 degrees apart. 4 cylinders engine and some V6 have a total of 58 teeth, spaced 6 degrees apart. So this is how I found how the trigger wheel on the crankshaft position sensor should look. Powers and grounds, again, this is a PDF, so this is easier to see, and instead of that image, because what I do is I use a snipping tool in Windows, and then I just select what I want and I add it over to my pictures, and I edit everything in Paint 3D. All right, so but yeah, these are the powers and grounds. I checked everything, and then it's 100%. I have also in the information the connectors, which the ones that I use the most is connector E for engine, and this is a 70 pin. How I know which one is B or E in this case, right? It's like you will say, okay, how you know which one is B and E, right? So I always look for powers and grounds. So if we go back to powers and grounds right here, so we have the grounds are 50, 60, and 70. Oh, sorry, 50, 69, and 70. 69 and 70 are these two pins in here. In connector E, on the other hand, like we have it here, if I go over to 69 and 70, I'm going to scroll fast down to those pin numbers. So if we see, we have control power for throttle actuator or ignition coil 6, in this case, coil 6, which I have it connected on E, sorry, right here. And we know that that is indeed coil 6 because we saw it firing, but that is not a ground. And then 70 is ignition coil 1 and pin E. So these two are grounds. So how I know that they're grounds, all the hydrolytic capacitors in this board, if we go closer, right here, let me put my glasses and get something to point plastic. So these hydrolytic capacitors will have this black side, that's ground. So if you use your multimeter, you can touch here and touch the ground, that should be having continuity. In some vehicles, not in this Ford, they can have a case ground in or grounds that are specific for transmission and for engine. So this is something that you have to also look into your wire diagrams, and that's what I always do. But based on these being on the same, actually grounds 50 is not shared with this, so it's for something else. But I did supply it. So we have powers and grounds in there. As we can see, we got the PCM wake up signal, which is coming from the PCM. That's just an ignition. Actually, not ignition. Yeah, well, it is ignition because even though it says hot all the times, it's hot all the times to the body control module. But it will not send a wake up signal until you turn the ignition on. Then we have hot and run and start. Again, that's an ignition or a power that will stay after you put the ignition on and even when you're cranking the car. That is the ISPR. And then we have a hot in a start and run again in ignition or cranking. B power 68 and 67. And then again, I don't know if I mentioned ISPR is in 42, and then the keep alive power is in 62. All of them in connector B. Same thing with the grounds, 57 and 69. If I go over to more of the diagrams that I want always to have, let me see what I have in here. Connectors to the DLC. Yes, I went and find this is the colored diagram just to corroborate what I have on here. It says the high-speed CAN negative is in pin 58 and high-speed positive in pin 59 in connector B. I disregard that, 138, because in this it's not 175, it's connector 13881. That's how it's named by Ford, and we can see it in here where it says 5.0, 6.2. So that will go, I mean, can low is pin 14 and can high is pin 6 in the DLC, right? The more that you work on this, the more that you know and get familiar with all that. Um, Let me just see injector diagrams. I did also collect injector, and I like this from Ford. Let me actually put the one for the coils in here too. Coils right here. So I like the Ford is now separating the diagrams as components, like all the coils in one diagram, all the injectors in one diagram. That makes it very easy. And it's to like I like the color wire diagrams that Bosch has redrawn for Identifix and every other website because that's not meant by Identifix or all data. They do Snap-on has some requests and they do stuff for specifically for the Snap-on. Like if you have Pro Demand, now they have all these hyperlinks in Pro Demand, but they don't have the original or OEM diagrams, and that's why I don't like Pro Demand. I'm waiting for my subscription to expire to not renew because this is truly is a waste of money. But yeah, so I like this from Ford that you have everything selected in here, so we can see indeed that coil 6 is in pin 69 and terminal and connector E. I'm gonna get a little closer so you can see that PCM RC relay control. Again, it's a control for the PCM relay that will end up feeding the power coming from fuse and through fuses over to the coil. So That's very nice for that. We can see the same thing in injectors, where all the injectors are located, all in connector E. So pretty much all the batteries and grounds are in connector B. All the sensors and coils, or sensor and actuators are most of them in connector E, and then transmission in connector T. All right, guys. I think that's as much as information that I want to share. Let me see if I'm hopefully not missing anything. I got the test. You already looked that with me. You are looking at the board. You have the pictures of all that. Sensors. Let me just see if I show you the sensor. What is this one? My 5-volt sensors in ground. I always picked up. This is not obviously not all the sensors in sensor grounds, but at least one 5-volt reference that I would like to share. Make sure the 5-volt reference is working and the sensor grounds are. These are all in connector B. So this one is the exception, because we can see the connector B is holding the signal return and the air temperature sensor and the digital signal from the master flow sensor, air ambient temperature sensor, and the AC transducer. So it's not like all are, like I said before, in the E and all are in the B. So just check your wire diagrams. And that's why I say this one, because I like to make sure when in a separate connector is a sensor ground in 5-volt reference, I always like to check, make sure that that one is working 100%. All right, guys, I don't want to take much longer of your time. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope that you are actually taking in consideration all the information that I'm trying to share with you all. I do take the time to do my homework, and I'm trying to help others to do this. I know there is a big country, it's a big world, so we can all have a little bit of piece of a pie. I try to help you as much as I can, and I keep some information for myself. So always in the loop and being necessary. I hope you all understand that, but I'm also sharing how to test, how to get the signals, how to test a computer that you cannot provide then the crankshaft position sensor signal or not a response from it because of the pad situation this vehicle use or for the tune. All right, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye. And as we say in Costa Rica, pura vida. And to all of you, today is happy as it's Thanksgiving in United States. I was going to say Costa Rica. So for all that are watching this video, hopefully today, happy Thanksgiving. See you next time. Bye bye.